Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Divine Grace, Abhay Charananda Shila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada ki Jaya Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajaka Charya Ashtottara Satasri Srimad His Divine Grace Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Kaliyug Pavan Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Nitai Go Premanandi Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyo Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Shaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Shagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschataveshidharine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam Pambhum langhayate girim Yatrupa tamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataram Parmananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Hari Om Tat Sat Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I first of all offer my respectful obeisances to Guru, and I offer my heartiest gratitude to His Grace Jagadguru Prabhu for allowing me to do this service, and I offer my respectful obeisances to all the senior Vaishnavas who assembled here, and our Jagadguru Shri Prabhupada, and all our Guru Vartaman, Guru Varta, and all of Acharyas. And I seek all of your blessings so that the right words come out of my mouth, which is purifying all our hearts and is pleasing to the beloved deities here, Shri Radha Kunjagiri, Adushudashi Jagannath Baladev Subhadramai, Srinathji Balgopal Giriraj Govardhan, and Patita Pavan Gaur Nitai. Somehow, this mic just represents my position in this material world. Always very fluctuating. So, I first want to ask all of you, I offer my gratitude that all of you have such important services. Amidst all that, you have made time to come to hear the timeless teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, that are coming to the line of the disciplic succession. So, as a humble servant of all of yours, I just wanted to present a context, but before that I want to ask all of you a question. How many of you feel that in this life, how many of you are here for the first time? Let me ask that. Is there anyone who is here for the first time? Okay. Oh, thank you. What are your names, Prabhu? Parth. Rag. And Swami Narayan? Swami? Narayan. Nathan. Swami Nathan. Okay, Swami Nathan. Thank you, Prabhu, for coming. So, I want to ask all of you one question. How many of us face problems in our life? If you can raise your hands. Okay, let me ask a different question. How many of us think that, okay, we do not have any problems? You can raise your hands. Okay, let me ask a different question. How many of us feel that, okay, I want to have a solution to the problem, but then, although I am trying it very hard, but I still face that, okay, I am always in problem. Okay, something or the other is bothering me. So, right? So let us dive a little bit deeper into what is that, okay, that really impacts us from the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. So, before we get into that, let's understand. See, nowadays, okay, we all know that in this world, we want solutions, right? So for these solutions, there are different type of professions that solve different types of pain. So, for example, okay, we have restaurant. What does restaurant do? They solve the pain of hunger, right? Then we have civil engineers. They solve if there is any buildings to be done, construction work to be done, they solve, okay, any living problem, transportation problem, those kind of things, like transportation, roads, like highways, they build that. They are solving that problem. Computer science, they are enabling, okay, nowadays AI is there in the market, they are solving other things which can be done very easily through technology. They are solving that kind of problem. If you go to the store anywhere, you will see that they have those chip cards, you swipe your credit card, right? You don't have to carry cash. It's a lot of things that happen in the back end which are being taken care of by that. If you take a doctor, for example, it is giving an indication. Okay, so the doctor is trying to solve the physical health problem. So all of these professions, they are trying to solve problems. And there is no confusion about it. You see, if you get a plumber, they are going to solve it. Like if there is water logging, or like you call some gardener, they are going to take care of the lawn, right? So there is no confusion in the profession. But sometimes people are confused when it comes to the places of worship, like temples. They are like, what type of problem is this thing going to solve? Is this going to solve a problem? Or is this going to be a problem? And so, many times you will see that people say, Prabhu, can you come to a program? I don't have time. Right? Many times you will hear this. I don't have time. You see, I have so much work, right? And I don't have time. So somewhere, the understanding is missing. Okay, is this adding pain or removing pain? Okay, oh, I have to go there, I have to spend my time, it will be more pain for me. That's how people analyze that. So, nowadays there is this concept of secular mindset. In this secular mindset, okay, so any kind of spirituality is kind of translated to blind faith, right? And like if there is rationality, then people call it a science. But if there is no rationality, then they say, okay, there is no science behind it. Relatable? So there's a need to kind of unpack this and explain this spirituality for the intellectuals. So what kind of problem is this? We talked about different types of problems and their professions in the solving. So, but beyond this problem, there is a deeper problem which every one of us are facing at all times, and that is the problem of constantly changing identity. Constantly changing identity. Now, if we go to Srimad Bhagavatam goes into very depth, and it says that there are 8 identities of a person. What are those 8 identities? Let us look into this. These 8 identities are, there is, first identity is the identity with the body. So, what is this identity with the body? So, the body identity is something like, if you see, there is young versus old, right? Okay. Then there is a, many times, okay, you get affected. Like if someone says, you are beautiful, you are handsome, you are ugly, right? And nowadays, okay, a lot of people post Facebook on, post pictures on Facebook, Instagram, okay, to see that, okay, am I being liked or am I not being liked? So, then there is concept of you are overweight versus underweight. So, people are relating to us with respect to our body. Healthy versus unhealthy. You seem very malnourished, or you are too healthy. So sometimes the body could change in the way we desire. Sometimes it may not change in the way we desire. Like someone joins a gym, they see that the weight is going as per the direction. Sometimes the person may be putting all the effort, but the body may not be reacting to what they wanted. And if you look at it, the health industry, the insurance industry, and the cosmetic industry is $1 trillion industry which is relying on this identity of this body, which is capitalizing on what is the body trying to, it's trying to capitalize on, okay, how you can manage your health, how you can manage your insurance, how you can be good looking, how you will not age. Although you are aging in terms of years, but you will not feel, others will not make out that you are aged. So this is number 1 identity. Number 2 identity is the identity with respect to spouses, husband or wife. So I know that the stability of marriage is very important for those who are married. So sometimes if there is an emotional conflict, or there is an emotional hormone challenge, then that creates imbalance. Sometimes there could be relationship difficulties, and that could cause intense anxiety, frustration, okay, and then trauma, whatnot. And we know, okay, in terms of these relations, okay, sometimes separations, divorces, or separation, okay, when there is a death of a person, okay, it could be like traumatic. So we can see how is this, where is this coming from? This is the identity with respect to spouses. Let's look at the third identity. Third identity is related to children. Now, with respect to children, there are expectations about what will my child study, where will he study, get into a good place, good school district, right? And then, okay, which college is this child going? And moreover, okay, if there is where child is going to college, what are their ethical values, what are their moral values, that also affects the parents. And parents are sometimes often anxious more than the children. So in such cases, like we can take a situation about exam time. In some cases, the parents might be more anxious than the student. Oh, it is this. My child sits down and like, okay, the parent is like constantly, and even more anxiety than that is the time when there is time to get the results. That will be causing more anxiety to more stress to the parents. Then the fourth identity is the identity with respect to house, where the person is staying. We can correlate what type of house. Many times, like this kind of question is asked: where do you stay? Is it apartment, condo? Okay, which school district is that? So it creates an identity. Then there is a vehicle, the type of vehicle the person drives. So the type of vehicle the person drives, okay, that is another identity. So you will see that many people they buy such kind of vehicle because that creates an identity. Next is wealth. Wealth is also an important identity in terms of material criteria. Like, what is the net worth of a person? Right? So these are all known terms. Okay. What is the, and within this network, again, there is another thing. Okay, you might see there are many businesses which are success or failure, and there are people who are termed like this guy is a wealth creator, and suddenly when the business crashes, then his identity says that he is a wealth creator, but he has now crashed a business, and now he's a flop. Like we know, like we have heard about many such businesses. Okay, and now such type of persons are in identity crisis. And we might see many times such people, they suffer from heart attacks, stress issues, and many times they commit suicide as well. So it's a serious challenge. So there is also nowadays there is this identity of social acceptance. This social acceptance is very common, has been very common in social networking, but it has been always there. It's called like whether a person is being accepted in the society, acknowledged or appreciated, or many times youth say that okay, am I being accepted, am I being rejected, am I being cancelled? So all these terms are there. So am I being ignored? And these kind of things come in. And then there is an eighth identity. The eighth identity is the identity with respect to the career and power. So you see, this is a very important identity where someone says, I am a CEO, I am a vice president of the company, I will be becoming the next president. And this identity has more importance because this identity talks about what is my influence over others. Right? Because the more one is powerful, that is like it is like there you go. Okay. I mean that is the power of that particular person. How much of the universe moves by your words is, as you express your desire, is that identity of the career and power. That is how we differentiate between the president of a country and the common man. Right? So now, question is, why does this identities, we talked about 8 identities, why does these identities cause anxiety? So, all these 8 identities, if you see, they are constantly changing. The 8 identities that we talked about, they are constantly changing. And we, as the people of this world, we are trying to constantly juggle between these 8 identities to keep it constant. Right? So, now when we talk about I had a good day, what does that mean? It means that more or less these 8 identities were almost constant to whatever my liking is, because generally if you wake up, okay, it is like, my job is there, my child is upset with me, my wife is upset with me, my finances, I'm okay, I'm not that good, but it's okay, it's just like yesterday. So there are a lot of changing parameters always. But if we say, okay, I had a good day, then when we ask someone, all they're trying to say is, okay, it is whatever their identities are, is primarily in alignment with what they were expecting for that particular day, more or less. So, but we have to understand one thing, that the change is inevitable. The change is inevitable for this 89%. So, question is, do we have an option? So, we'll come to that. Just let me give you an analogy here. When we know it is the rainy season, so in the rainy season, what do? We get an umbrella, right? We shield it with an umbrella. And what do we do when there is a virus there? COVID was there. What were people trying to do? They got a vaccine, right? So that is why there is a ninth identity. This ninth identity is something which can give everyone real security. Because no matter what, no matter whoever it is, the 8 identities are going to change. But this ninth identity has been considered to be one of the topmost identity, and one who takes shelter of this particular identity can feel that security and shelter. And what is that? That is the one. Now I told about those 8 identities which are constantly changing, like the body, spouse, children, house, right, vehicle, wealth, all this society, career, these are constantly changing. But this ninth identity is the identity that amidst all this pain, anxiety, instability, it is standard, and that comes from the Bhagavad Gita, that we are a spirit soul. We are a spirit soul. We are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. This identity, no matter what, is always constant. No matter whatever is changing in the entire creation, but this identity is constant at all times. So, there are different sufferings that are caused due to the changes in the identity, but one who learns how to take shelter of this ninth identity remains steady in turbulent situation. So there is situations will be turbulent, but amidst all that, everyone wants. See, COVID was there. Can you avoid COVID? I mean, can you avoid any viruses come out? No. There will be situation, and we don't know what the next moment is going to be. I'll give you a live example. So before few years, this is a true example in Mumbai, in Chowpatty Temple of Mumbai. It's considered, like those who don't know where Chowpatty is, it's the downtown of Mumbai. So in Chowpatty Temple, there were some youngsters who were going here, college graduates. Okay, I know there are some youngsters who were here. So this one person just came to the temple. Okay, they came for like 2-3 weeks. Because sometimes we come, we like something, and they felt benefited, uplifted at that point of time. And somehow he happened to tell his friend, "Hey, I like this place. Why don't you also come?" I think the second or third week before. And this friend continued, but this guy who was there, who initially introduced, that day stopped going. And why he stopped going? It's not that he had to do something else, but like he was very focused on his studies. He was all the time studying and studying and studying, and he was completely focused to that extent that he came out to be a topper in his, not only college but in his university. And then it so happened that he stopped coming to the temple somehow, and he was very busy because at that time he had to study. So when he became a topper, like this friend whom he had introduced, he came and told him, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to the temple. Do you want to come today? We have not seen you now that your exams are over. Why don't you come? Because I'm so grateful you introduced me to this. And I'm really finding so much peace and solace in every situation. So can you come?" And then this guy said, okay, no, actually, you know what, because I came first, now there is a party actually, it has been arranged from my college, and I'm just going there. So he went there, and of course, like, there was the entire college, students were there, they were having a wonderful party there, there was loud music there, and there was all types of food and everything that was there, and alcoholic beverages, everything was kept over there. And right in front of everyone, like this guy was dancing on the stage and he collapsed because of a heart attack. And he died there. Now, it was absolutely a shocker for everyone that this 23-year-old boy, okay, who had no other history of any health issue, just collapsed there. So, why I'm saying this is, as I was thinking through this, I was thinking that can we imagine in our life what are the permutation, combination of things that are possible, the ways in which things can go wrong? Can you imagine? I will give my own personal example. Just few days back, I was on the road and I was just driving on, I believe on I-75. So suddenly, in the morning, I don't know how many of you use I-75, there's a lot of traffic. But on that particular day, it was pretty free. And at one point, suddenly I think there was a car crash, and suddenly the traffic started building. And there was not much gap between the vehicles. So when I applied the brake, when I was going that day, somehow I was very late for work, and I could not sing Narshing Aarti at home. So when I was going, I was singing the Narshing Aarti in car. Okay, so like in car, I may not have really a consciousness to think about Narshing or so. It was an impromptu, just playing out of my lips. Okay, and I was just singing that, and then as the car started braking right, in my mind I understood, okay, there is so much less space. My car wouldn't stop actually. And I thought, okay, it's going to be a crash actually. It was bound to be a crash. I just came and just hardly centimeters far from the car, I stopped. And then what I saw is, as my car was stopping, as my eyes went into the rear view mirror, I saw the car behind me. That is coming at, it was not a car, it was a truck behind me. That was coming at such a fast pace. I thought, okay, even if I hit this one, that would anyway gone. And that stopped like 2 centimeters from me. I could see that, okay, it just stopped because, those big trucks, when they stop, you can see that, okay, they just become like this, okay, like giant body, okay. I could see that, okay. And I thought, okay, what happened? And I did not realize that impromptu, I was still singing the Narshing Aarti. Okay, and I realized that Narshing Dev, you're so kind. Okay, I could not even understand how this happened. But you are so kind, okay, just because I was singing, okay, I didn't even think of you. I was just impromptu singing this one. But it stopped. Why I'm saying this is, okay, we are talking about stability. Okay, things could have been very different. Situation. So coming back to this, okay, we are talking about the understanding how the soul's identity is there, and that is why the Bhagavad Gita says, Dehi no sumin yatha dehi avmadam yovanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhirastatra mohyati. So Bhagavad Gita, I'll just read this translation. So the translation is saying, as the embodied soul continuously passes in the body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Now, for someone who is very new to this, it may be too much words and how do you understand it? So just give a small analogy or example. Because examples make it easy for us to understand as how Srila Prabhupada explains. So Srila Prabhupada is very clever. See, many times, let's take an example which everyone can relate to. Many times, sometimes, our grandfather, for those of you who have the experience of having grandfather, you have seen others having grandfather, they will say, okay, hey, this is, in the picture, this is me in my childhood. Now, if you see, this grandfather is now 75 years old, but when he's showing the picture, he was like when he is 10 years old or 15 years old. He looks very different. Body has changed. But he's relating that it is the same person, me. Okay. So although it is the same person, bodily everything has changed. But it is the same person. Now who is that person? Is that body the person? Many times like when someone passes away, we say, this uncle passed away. But his body is right there. So who has passed away? Even in Hindi, we say, chal base. Kaun chal base? Right? We say, he just left. But the body is still there. So what has gone? It is the soul, the living force that has actually passed away. So that soul, till that soul is there, the body is life. Once the soul leaves the body, finish. I'll give you a different example. See how the living force acts actually. If you see, many times you may see on many, those, these days there are so many road kills hazards. Road kills means any animal that is crushed by the vehicle. So many, this is, I find it so bad actually. So many animals are killed on the road and I feel it so painful actually because they are just killed. But if you observe, after a few hours, many ants, other insects will come to eat those things. If you notice, even if those insects are around, they will not harbor on that body till the life force is there. Once the soul leaves the body, then they get it. That means they understand that this one does not have a living force. You might see many places in those bigger cities, New York and other places, many people die on the street also. They may be homeless, so when they die, at that time you will see there are other insects and other things that really decompose the body. So, but till the living force is there, they are not impacted. So this is the proof that till the soul is there, that is the living force. And that is the identity if we have to really catch up with. So Krishna gives many instructions. He says about the different characteristics of these spirit soul. He says that this spirit soul does not age, does not decay, and many other things he says. But question is, why this? If the soul is so important, why is this so much ignored? Why we don't know like that? Right? Some question might come up. Why have I not known this since now? Now, you have to understand that people means us only, it's not someone else. It includes me also. People are so absorbed in those material 8 identities that they don't have time for this 9th identity. Think about it like that. If we think about whatever time we have spent today, like so far in the year left, we'll see that the maximum forces on those 8 identities. Okay? But are we spending anything for our soul, for really our soul? That is a question that we have to ask. So there is another perspective. The society also rewards for those material identities. If you see outside society, they are getting credit for the 8 identities that we have. No one says, hey, what are you doing for the soul? Right? So then, when there is appreciation, we really, let's come for a party. Okay, we'll have nice and fun, this, that. So no one talks about this. And slowly what happens is, when it comes to temple, because we don't know what we should do, everything, these are rituals, these are mechanical, these are useless, bogus. Okay, that's the mindset we have. Because we have not tried to understand And because of this, the critical spiritual science that is there, where we had the opportunity to know that in this human body, because animals will not go to know like what is the science of soul, that opportunity is lost for us. Understand this here, okay? After our scripture says, after 8.4 million births, we get a human body. We all have been through an animal body and different types of rat body and raccoon body and ant body, spider body, pigeon body, this body, demigod body, demon body, and then we are down to this human body. And now we have this golden opportunity to take that advantage. And at that time, see, it is like this. Now you have got this job at Amazon. Now you can get promotion, you can get a job, you can get to that 300K zone. Will you really work for that? You will put our full effort in it. So let me ask you a question in this context. Because questions makes us think through that. How many of us are there, like if we are given an opportunity, there is a job that is there where the salary is $10 million. Okay. Every month you pay $10 million. And you can bring your family also for this job. I mean, to the office, you can show them your parents, and all facilities will be provided there. Now, how many of you really want that kind of job? Right? I will also. Yeah, I think remaining followers will renounce it. They are not raising it. I have to take sessions for people. How do you get to it? Let's ask this again. How many of them there? You genuinely raise your hand. Radha Krishna is the same. Maybe if no one needs money, then you can keep it in. Okay, so but there is a condition. That condition is a fine print is that in this job, till you are in this company, you will keep paying. You can bring anyone that you want in this company, but you cannot leave this company building and go. As soon as you leave this company building and go, you have to pay back everything. Now, how many of you are ready for taking this job? Now, what kind of job is this? Why should I do that kind of job? But if you see, these 8 identities as such, okay, they are in this body only. And this body is temporary. Then what is the use? Okay, we are putting all our heart and effort and everything to uplift their way. Let's build a mansion. Next day, no, let them to their own. And we are putting, Jill Roman took this example. Okay? See, look at this people in the metro cities. They are trying to buy a house, take a lifetime loan, and they're struggling day and night to put that house. But they end of the day, how much do you eat? You eat 2 chapatis, 3, 4, 5, 10. His eating capacity is same only. Whatever the needs are there, that's still his basic need is still the same. But he's still struggling for things to get everything. So that is the nature of this material world, and that is what these 8 activities, that is where society of separations. So, okay, so we started with the temple. Okay. So where does this temple come into play, and where does Krishna consciousness come into play? So Krishna consciousness, we talked about this 9th identity. Now let's talk about how do I take shelter of this 9th identity? Because at least we have about 10 minutes. So let us understand within this 10 minutes, what is it that we can get out of the books that Srila Prabhupada gave, the association that Srila Prabhupada gave. So, Krishna consciousness gives us, it provides us. We want to understand about this 9th identity. It provides us this knowledge about this 9th identity. How we can apply this on day-to-day life. It gives us the practices that we need to do so that we can realize. See, we may understand that, oh, so I have this soul. But how do we apply this? So we have to practice this, right? Because at the time of danger, we have to really know how do I take shelter of that? We have to, sometimes our own, when we say practices, how do we pray? What should be our meditation? What should be our contemplation? And that's where the community comes into play. So Srila Prabhupada gave us this community so that we can all come together, and that's where we can get association. When we get the right kind of association, then we get uplifted. And it is a known fact, we all might acknowledge this, that whatever association we take, we become just like that. If someone takes the association with a drunkard, I knew one person one day who never used to drink. I knew him for several years. And he would always be in association of drunkards. And he would boast about it. See, I'm in that association, but I don't drink. Okay, unfortunately, that did not last too long. Same case here, okay, if you see smokers. If you look about anyone who has smoked, it always started with, practice. It did not land from somewhere. Similarly, drugs or other things, whatever are there, it comes to association. So, if we have the right association, if we have a spiritually uplifting association, then that will really help us at the time of need. When we are in constant association, then what will happen is we will remain protected. Because remember, those 8 identities are going to change. And it can change anytime. Then comes, nowadays we talk about technology. So what is the technology? Technology is to understand what is this devotion? What are the yogic practices that we do? We have to understand that. And then, how do we get protected? That is, how do we get immunity in difficult times? So, one is to understand how do we get immune, and another is to have examples of who are immune. That way, we have a right example to follow. I'll give one example in this because examples make it more clear. How many of you have heard about Steve Jobs? Right? You all know Steve. Right? Steve Jobs, okay, we all know is such a famous personality. Michael Jackson, such a famous personality. Steve Jobs, okay, at the end of his life, he had asked his doctors, can I get 6 months additional time? Because he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Generally, at that time, pancreatic cancer was considered to be less aggressive, but the one that he had was a very rare kind of aggressive pancreatic cancer. Nowadays, there are various versions. So, he asked doctors, can I get 6 months time? Doctor said, no more, can I get 6 months? By the way, do you want to tell what is your vision about Apple? I said, forget about Apple right now. We don't even have time for this. Okay, right now I'm struggling with my own time. But, and if you see another example, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson had built a mansion about, if you, even today's date, if you go to YouTube, if you search for the mansion of Michael Jackson, you will see that they give an aerial view. Those days, drones were not there. When Michael Jackson passed away, so they took a view from the helicopter. That way it was. He had all medical facilities in his house only. And he had one time where, because he was so rich, he was so famous, he had one time where he expressed his desire that I want to live for 150 years. He could not cross 50. When he collapsed, nothing else came to his health. So, where I'm saying is, money doesn't make a difference. On the contrary, I'll give you another example. His name is Bhakti Swami Maharaj, disciple of one founder actually, his divine grace is Turbulent Swami Prabhupada. He was identified with, he was diagnosed with melanoma cancer, a very rare kind of cancer, which translates into excruciating pain. I don't know how many of you have experienced with cancer, but I have seen people what is excruciating pain because it is undescribable. So when he was in this excruciating pain, Maharaj, when people are in pain, what do you do? Next thing, give me morphine, this, that, whatever you give, stop this pain. Maharaj was not taking any medication. Maharaj was constantly chanting Krishna's name. He was constantly chanting Krishna's name. He was in full, his two legs had to be amputated. But he was in a totally blissful state. You have to understand this. Only one was transcended that level, whatever level we are at, or whatever level I am at. Then one gets to that level where he's not affected by whatever is happening in those 8 layers. And so, Srila Prabhupada established this university. What is this university? Every temple is an university. To understand how to realize this science of soul. And you know what is the end goal? End goal is that you're all struggling in your life, right? In different ways. But the end goal of doing this bhakti is not just to get a better life in us, but to understand that there is a life beyond this life. And that is a life in a spiritual world. So do I only live for that time? No, we can be blissful in this life and we can be blissful after this life. So one takes to this process. That person can experience bliss in this life itself. And not just that, as they are progressing through their life, they can understand how the spiritual world is getting revealed to them. They can understand how this Shishi Radha Kunjavini is seated here, is orchestrated in their particular life. So that is where these prayers come into play. So I'll add 3 things that are very important. So in order to adapt this, there are 3 pillars. What are those 3 pillars? Pillars are to have the purity in proclivity, which means to serve without a selfish desire. Outside world, what is happening? What can I get from this person? But here, if you come, you will see, okay, what can I give? That is the nature of a devotee. And then stability in identity. When we actually take stability in understanding that we are a spirit soul, when we are having difficulties in our personal life, then we understand that, okay, I am a part of Krishna. Let me pray to Krishna. Krishna, I am part and parcel of you. So please help me realize this. And I will tell about how to realize this also. Then third is consistency in activity. You have to be consistent in what we are doing. So we have to understand what is our daily practice. And how do we come to that? That is by following the ABCD rule. By coming in the right association. By coming in an association which is inspiring and uplifting. If we are ourselves suffering and we go to someone else's, like just if you say, okay, if you go and ask someone at work, how are you? He will say, can't complain. That means I want to complain, but I can't complain. But if you come across someone who is always blissful, you can see that no matter, oh, this person is going to see so much, but is in so much bliss. How is it happening? You want to learn about that. Okay, I personally, like when I came to Krishna, I thought like, this is for someone who when retires, that is for them. But when I came across devotees, when I saw they are having the most turbulent situation in their life, how is it that they are not affected? I don't want this life, I want that life. I thought, okay, someone has to understand what is that they are doing. So that is that is very important. Those who really want to, okay, I really want to follow Steve Jobs, like I want to have an icon, okay, of Bollywood movie of this type, okay, who are running after money or running after women, and someday okay, they don't get this and they commit suicide. You can follow that. It's very temporary. But one wants a permanent solution to this. How can I be blissful at every stage? You have to think, how can I get the dissociation? We have to really aspire for dissociation. See, when the hunger is there, then Krishna will do it. And second is to have the right books. Bhagavad Gita is not a book for leisure time. Krishna is giving instruction to Arjuna at the time of war, when the conch bells have already gone from both sides. Think about it, guns are about to get fired, and Arjuna says, I will not fight. No, Krishna. No, if we are in the Krishna, we will. Now I am the secretary, what to do? No, but Krishna takes it into the question answer mode. He explains Arjuna. At that time, what we say that, okay, I don't know if you guys have seen, okay, in industry, right? When the market, how many of you have known, okay, that when this share markets crashed in 2009, anyone know that? In 2009, share markets crashed, so Lehman Brothers, other things crashed. So during that time, those market leaders, when they came up, okay, they would give strategies at that time. So those who gave Warren Buffett and all these people, they used to come and give strategies. They became very famous because they are leaders who are giving strategies. They are personally doing that during that time. So in the industry, they become known. Now Krishna is giving a sign when there is. It's not about industry, how much money. It's about life and death. So it is such an important message for each one of us. As we go deep into it, we'll understand. And it is a science which is spiritually, it cannot be just had just, we have to really intensely desire for it, we have to hanker for it. Then it will slowly come. And there are so many instances where people are about to commit suicide and they get a book and they change their mind. They're like, I want to live a life. Third thing is, we talked about A and B. C is for contemplation. Having a daily reflection to avoid frustration. So we should have a practice for that. And D is the diet. That is having a sattvic food. And as we get association, we'll get to know more about it. And I will end with one last thing. We are all sitting here in front of the most merciful Shri Radha Kunjabihari. This deity of Shri Radha Kunjabihari, Srila Prabhupada said, is the most merciful deity across the entire North America. They are indeed the most merciful. And whoever comes here, okay, whoever have been coming here, they've experienced, they have so many things on their own to share on their experiences with Shri Radha Kunjabihari. There are so many people who just came here, okay, and there was one person who just came here, okay, and just to have prasad, and after that just became a regular visitor because their life is so much transformed. I have known so many such people. It is my fortune actually, and many times as I get to meet such people, I'm so much overjoyed on every time I'm learning newer things about Shri Radha Kunjabihari. I will just end with one last thing. Because I told about Shri Radha Kunjabihari, I will share one small pastime about Shri Radha Kunjabihari so you can understand the extent of how much Shri Radha Kunjabihari is personally seated, is personally reciprocating. There is one pujari. So if you happen to know, there are 6 offerings being made. That means 6 times plates go inside. Shri Radha Kunjabihari is personally honoring that, means eating, and then the plates come out, and then whatever we get here is their accepted remnants. Okay? So, when the plates were going away, about this is in the last decade. So once one pujari, two pujaris were there, so one pujari, as he was making the plate, although as a pujari, just sometimes some thought process our mind, so just one thought process. Does Radha Kunji really eat this? Thought process. So the plate goes in, plate comes back. After the plate comes back, so this time is the other pujari who is, they have to mix this with the other prasad. So when they are mixing, they told, hey, Prabhu, did you offer the plate like this? So what is wrong with this? So no, just see the lemon. They are so much squeezed, and as if and those seeds of lemon, they are just in the side. How is it that you offered like this to? Oh, I did not offer like this. Oh, then how is it that it is like this? Then this person was saying, how is it that you called? And as he was saying this, right, the other person is saying, are you saying that Radha Kunji accepted it? So as soon as he said that, right, it struck me. I made this prayer. Are you accepting it? So that day was gone. But as he comes out, as he's done with his seva, another thought process is mine. So did Radha Kunji really accept it, or was I having an illusion about this? So then few days pass, and after that, this pujari is again, he is in the service. This time this pujari is not in the pujari service. He is doing chanting here. It's afternoon time, and the other pujari is coming to offer him, and he makes the offering and goes away. As he goes away, this pujari is still chanting here, and he hears some sound. Tick, tick, tick. And he's like, okay, what happened? Why is there sound here? Starts looking here and there. As he starts looking here and there, as he starts to focus on the sound, he looks there, and he comes here, and then he feels that the sound is coming from inside the curtain. You cannot open the curtain because they're eating. It's the private curtain. So as he starts to focus on the sound, he understands that it is the sound of all this, the glass, spoon, everything like. Then he's thinking, what am I hearing? I can actually hear the eating of shishi. So then is it happening? He turns to pinch him, goes there, he comes back, he's pinching others differently, and then he's completely mesmerized. What is happening? And he's 4 or 5 times he goes, then he's now convinced that it is Radha. And he goes out also, he thinks, okay, am I hearing someone? No, I'm not hearing it. I come back here. And he is still, he can hear it. So what is happening? And then he comes here, he's again sitting and chanting. He's hearing the entire thing. He's saying, okay, what is happening? I can't understand. And suddenly the other pujari comes. As he enters from here, he hears the last sound. The glass of whatever juice or whatever was there. It was scared. This is the last item. It's done. Then this pujari realizes that Shri Radha Kunji is personally present. He is not just a marble deity. He is live here. So when we make our prayers, we know that He is personally hearing each and everything. He is orchestrating each and everything in everyone's life. One who is praying and one who is not praying also. Of course, one who is devotee is much more dear to him. And he is always very partial to his devotees. Shri Radha Kunji Bihari ki Jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Gaur Premanande. Shri Gaur Nitai ki Shri Jagannath Baladev Subramai ki Shri Shriyaji Bhargava Giraj Govardhan ki Vancha Kalpatarupascha Kripasindhubhyo पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णवेभ्यो की जय। Thank you all very much. If you all have, in some or other way, if you have any questions, we can take it now. If not have any questions, then we can conclude here. Does anyone have any questions or any comments?
Can you share your most memorable moment with Shri Radha Kunya Bihari?
Okay, Hare Krishna. Prabhu is saying that, okay, can I share one of my most memorable moment with Shri Radha Kunya Bihari? There are so many memorable moments, but I can just say this, okay, to be very honest, in every moment that when I am here, I feel very, very uplifted. In the most turbulent times, when I have been here, those 8 states, the 8 identities that I was talking about. So when I was going through the most turbulent times, I have found the deepest shelter in Shri Radha Kunya Bihari. I will give you one example, which was a turning point in my life. In 2013, I bought a new car and I was driving to the temple. I still remember, it was the day of Christmas. And I was on I-96 and at that time, it was a very snowy day, and during that day, although it had snowed very much, there was no snow on the highway as such. So I was driving like in a regular speed or maybe a little less than that. However, there was some black ice in one part of the road. So when my car passed through that, the car skid there. And when it skid, I tried to apply the brake, it started turning around like this. I was in the middle lane, the car was completely turning around like this. Okay. And just besides me, I could see trucks passing, van passing. Okay. You can imagine in the middle lane, if the car is like rotating, 5 or 6 times it rotated like this. And so at that time, somehow I was in that 8 identity level. I was trying to control the car rather than thinking anything. But my wife was sitting next to me and she remembered that, okay, if this is the last moment of my life, somehow, if I can remember Krishna, then it is success. Because if anyone remembers Krishna in the last moment of their life, then what happens is, they do not have to take any birth anymore. They are just immediately transported to the spiritual world. So my wife, at that point of time, that time my son was not born, and my daughter was just like 4 years old. So she caught hold of, with one hand she caught hold of me, she was in the navigator seat, and with the other hand my child was in the car seat. She caught hold of her and she said, because she had heard that if we say Hare Krishna, this chanting of this Hare Krishna is a call to Krishna. Then if I can chant once Hare Krishna, that's it. So she chanted Hare Krishna. Let us all chant together Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So as soon as she chanted Hare Krishna, by the time the car had already turned 6 times, and I was sure, I was trying to control the car a little bit, but as soon as she chanted Hare Krishna once, just by that, the car, something happened, it went and banged in the, there was divider. And the divider was filled with snow. So because of that, snow acted like a cushion. Although it went and banged there, and there was a loud noise. I still remember the bonnet also came out and what not happened. Okay. And then somehow it stopped. Like there was a jerk and this. And I thought maybe some car will come and hit. I could not think also like that. Let me not speculate. Okay. Because all of this was happening in microseconds. So as soon as that car stopped, Took us some time to take a few seconds to come back and immediately thought, okay, they are not doing well. And now the material mentality comes in, okay, what about the car? Let me jump down and see what will do. So we went and saw in that car, okay, on the bumper there were some small scratches. So, and I thought, I was super happy, oh, the car is scratchless like this. And then I came back, okay, and then drove the car for 7 days. I came back to the Christmas anniversary get together also here. And I had, so one devotee told me, let's see, when you have taken to this path of devotion, even if you are going through a turbulent time, Krishna is personally monitoring you. I really took that to my heart. And then what happened is, like, after several months, there was a different problem with my car. I took the car to the mechanic. So the mechanic asked me, was there any problem with your car? Did you have any accident or something? I said, yeah, that was several months back. Why do you ask that? He said, the alignment of the car is changed. Okay. Internally the body has got shifted and your frame is still there. But I am surprised at how your body is not damaged when your frame is, how your body is not damaged, but your frame is still there like this. It must have been a big, massive impact that has happened. I have never seen this. I worked for this car mechanic industry for 30 years. Now, if that guy is saying that thing, then I was thinking, what is engineering doing it? Who is doing it? Who can do it if not engineering? We can think I am the doer. We are nothing. We are nothing. The most important orchestra, the most important person is seated here. Hare Krishna. Shri Radha ki, Jai Krishna Prabhupada ki. Let us once chant one mantra together for the pleasure of Shri Radha Krishna, the pleasure of Shri Prabhupada, the pleasure of all entities. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.